Chris Shandak, CYInterview, covering Las Vegas and the world. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button below and like this video to keep up with everything we have going on here at CYInterview in Las Vegas and beyond. We're here outside the Bellagio. You can see the flamingo in the background. Just want to go over a couple of things. If you haven't already, please check out our videos with Manny Pacquiao, who's coming back to fighting after 4 years, the great boxer. Check out our conversation with Manny Pacquiao where we asked him a couple questions this week. And this is my question for you today. What is your favorite restaurant in Las Vegas? I'm Chris Shandak for CYInterview. Please let us know in the comments section below what your favorite restaurant is. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. And speaking of restaurants, here is our past CYInterview with Wolfgang Puck.
This is Chris Shandak, and you're on CYInterview.com. Every award season, Master Chef Wolfgang Puck prepares fine cuisine for tons of celebrities during award season. He is one of the most recognized chefs in America for his restaurant franchises, but he is most known for his Grammy and Oscar award dinners for the stars. Besides discussing all that, Wolfgang talks about the overweight and obesity issues in America, his acting work past and future, and why he won't do Dancing with the Stars till he is 80 years old, even though he says ABC continues to ask him, among many other topics. This is Chris Shandak. Joining me today, CYInterview.com is fortunate enough to speak with one of the world's most well-known chefs, Wolfgang Puck. Thank you so much for joining me today. Got a lot to talk about the upcoming award dinners and everything else, but before we get into all that, what gets you excited after all these years still?
Well, you know, I have this passion and love for food, wine, and people in general. So to me, the restaurant business is the perfect business for me. So, you know, each season brings you new ingredients, and we can change the style, the way we cook it. So it's really, to me, cooking is the perfect profession for me. I will continue on until the end.
You've done a lot of these award show dinners. How do you make each one unique and special from the one before it?
Well, you know, like we do the Academy Awards, you know, for 1,600 people, and we have like 300 people in the hall, 350 people in the kitchen, about 600 people in the dining room. So what people expect is to have great service and great food. So the decor of the room is different every year, and so is the menu. So we make over something we can make for that many people. So we buy the best ingredients and keep them really don't make them too fussy. Keep it simple, but really with really good preparation. Like, for example, last year we had a chicken pot pie with black truffles. So the whole dining room smelled like black truffles because we had enough black truffles, you know, a lot of black truffles, so you got the good flavor and everything. And what was great, people got served the dish very hot. So people had hot food and with great flavor. So we always try to find something really original, something delicious, and then something we can serve hot and well for that many people.
Do you recall memories of the first time you ever did a major award show dinner, and were you nervous?
Well, you know, when we did the first Academy Awards, it was down at the Shrine Auditorium, and I remember we had to build a kitchen in the parking lot, in like some kind of a makeshift tent with no sidewalls. And then the wind came, and all the stoves, the gas burning we had, instead of going straight up the fire like you have normally, you know, it went all sideways. So I was making a risotto, I remember at that time, and I couldn't get the risotto to come to a boil. I said, oh my God, how are we going to finish that? So I had to put aluminum foil all around the stove to get the risotto to boil. And then years later, when we did the first time the show up at the Kodak Theater, where next to the theater is our ballroom, and they never used that much electricity. So all of a sudden, in the middle of the dinner, electricity went out and the gas went out. And I had still, like, I remember we served braised short ribs and a sliced Wagyu steak. And I still had 800 steaks to cook, and all of a sudden there was no more fire, so I got pretty nervous. 15 minutes later, we got electricity again, and everything was fine, but we couldn't find our electrical engineer, and the security was so tight that they didn't let him come up. So he was somewhere downstairs in the building, and we had no electricity. So it was a little, I was a little panicked for 15 minutes and say, how are we going to finish that?
Amazing. How will the Grammys this year be different from the Oscars?
Well, the Grammys is always different because we have 6,000 people for the Grammys, you know, and we do buffets, so we have all kinds of buffets from American comfort food to Italian buffets to Thai buffets, so all different kind of things. So that when people, when they finish and they come to the party, you know, they get a lot of choices, and people can have exhibition cooking, and so everything is done in front of the customers, and it's not a sit-down dinner like the Oscars.
Who are some of your biggest fans that look forward to your meals at these events? Do you have any big fans, any celebrities who just look forward to this every week?
Oh, we have from Barbra Streisand to Michael Caine and John Travolta. They all love the food. You know, they always, when I go in the dining room, they always say, oh, can we have an extra portion? Can we have a little more of this? And, you know, it's really an amazing thing to see that the people actually eat and they want more of it.
Has there ever been a story of anyone you've ever met that stands out, or anyone you were in awe of at one of these events that gave you a compliment?
I think the first time I went in the dining room, and I remember Barbra Streisand told me, you know, can I have some more risotto with your braised short ribs? And I said, wow, you know what? She ate already an order, and she wants a second order. She must be really hungry or really liking it.
Wolfgang, I have to say to you, of course, doing the Governor's Ball for the Academy Awards, will there be any changes this year at all, or any differences given, you know, California's budget issues or anything of that nature? Will there be any revamping or anything of that nature, or will it be the same as usual?
No. I don't think the California shortfall. We're not going to go and ask Jerry Brown to give us money to do it. You know, they make enough money with the telecast, you know, from the Oscars, and I don't think there will be any changes at all. As the opposite, you know, it's a good thing. We employ a lot of people. A lot of people get a job. So I think that's really an important factor. You know, people shouldn't think, oh, you know, they're throwing a big party and other people don't have the money. I think what people should think, we are employing 1,000 people for a whole week, really, you know, and they have a job which maybe some of them wouldn't have it without it.
The United States has an obesity issue right now. As someone who is one of America's most well-regarded chefs, what do we as Americans need to do in the kitchen to make healthier meals, you think, right now?
Well, I think we should not make a habit to take our kids to the fast food restaurants, you know, and have the kids eat burgers and French fries and fried chicken and stuff like that. We should go to the grocery store, buy vegetables, and cook them simply at home, buy some good rice, some brown rice and things like that. And you have to start with the kids from the beginning and feed them really well. I think if we would take more care of our body with nutrition, we would need less doctors at the end and less health insurance.
Given the chance to prepare and cook food, you know, for many stars, you've also had the opportunity to do some acting work. What was it like having a reoccurring role on Las Vegas and having some memorable scenes of James Caan and Molly Sims, for example? I think that's one of your greatest acting roles so far.
Hey, I'm doing something for the Smurfs, some voices for the Smurfs. I'm the Smurf chef, so that's the newest one.
Oh, interesting. What was it like to work with Caan and Molly Sims on Las Vegas?
I think it was a very nice thing because we had like our restaurant there in the hotel, in the Montecito Hotel. And you know what? It is really amazing to see a professional like Jimmy Caan do the work. You know, I thought like when I was first there, I said, oh, he's just rehearsing and he's going through the thing like so nonchalantly and everything. And you know what? He's such a good actor that when you see it on screen and say, wow, this is what acting is all about. It not overdo it or underdo it. Just the right pitch. So I was very impressed with the professionalism and how talented they are, really. And Molly the same way. You know, we never think, oh, I can do it. Everybody looks on TV or in a movie and says, oh, I could do that too. But, you know, you have to have talent to be able to do that.
Is there anyone in Hollywood you'd love to act on screen with, whether it be a cameo role or something else?
Probably Jack Nicholson, but I think I would get very nervous.
Is there any chance, Wolfgang, that you would ever do a reality show like Dancing with the Stars or The Celebrity Apprentice? Will we ever see Wolfgang in that form?
Well, maybe when I'm 80 years old. I told everybody, when I get past Aldrin's age, if I'm 80 and I get thrown out of Dancing with the Stars for the first round, I wouldn't mind. Right now, I think I'm a chef and I'm a cook. That's my profession. And, like they ask me on Dancing with the Stars every year to be on. But I think, if that would be my talent, I would be a dancer. I would be Gene Kelly, but I am not.
Looking at the state of the country and the difficult economic times, how are the Wolfgang Puck restaurant franchises doing in every other Wolfgang business under your name?
Well, most of our restaurants are doing better, did better last year, and in 2009 was our toughest year, generally speaking, and I think it's improving slowly. We want always to go it faster. But I think, certain places we are not hurt at all, like Cat in Beverly Hills. We opened 4 years. We didn't feel the recession. But, then some restaurants, like in Las Vegas, we felt it more because, people didn't come. The conventions they had were only attended by a few people. Instead of hundreds of thousands, they had maybe 40,000 and so on. So, and people had an expense account which was much smaller. So Las Vegas was a tough year in 2009. 2010 is better, and 2011 is even better than last.
Wolfgang Puck, thank you so much for joining me today. In closing, I'd love to ask you one question. As someone who aspires to be a good food preparer, what is the most important piece of advice you could give them?
I think the most important thing these days is, no matter what budget you're on, is to buy the best ingredients possible. If you don't go and buy good ingredients. Like if you go to your local supermarket, look what is fresh. Don't go with your idea and says, we're going to make a sole tonight for dinner, but the sole is only frozen, but you can get fresh shrimps or maybe fresh salmon or something like that. Try to support your local farmers. If you have the chance, like we have in California, it's very easy to go to the local farmers market, and I think that's a good way, because sooner or later you will figure out the difference it tastes if you buy vegetables from a farmer's market or just regular grocery stores. I know my little boys, Oliver and Alexander, know already the difference. If they taste the carrot, which comes from our farmers, they taste sweet, they are tender and everything. If they comes from a store, often they have no more flavor because they were harvested 6 months ago.
Wolfgang Puck, it was a great pleasure speaking with you. Good luck with the Grammys and the Oscars, and hopefully maybe in the future we can talk again. It was really nice talking with you today.
Good to talk to you. Thank you very much.
For CYInterview.com, I'm Chris Yandek.